The champagne flutes have barely been dried from the last Newman Media launch party, but the celebratory clinking has been replaced by the shattering of something far more fragile. The foundation of Victor and Nikki Newman's marriage. In Genoa City, where boardroom battles are often bloodier than anything that happens on the street, the most dangerous war has been declared not in the Newman Enterprises tower, but in the private living room of the Newman Ranch. Sources close to the couple confirm that the week of March 17 marks a perilous new chapter for the long-reigning first couple of soap operas. What began as a low simmering tension over Victor's increasingly secretive business dealings has boiled over into a full-scale marital meltdown, and, as always in Genoa City, an opportunistic vulture is circling overhead, ready to pick at the remains. Her name is Diane Jenkins. The Great Divide, Secrets and Lies. The trouble, as it so often does, began with the best of intentions. Victor Newman, the mustache, the titan of industry, has always operated under the philosophy that he alone knows what is best for his family. This time, his protection has taken the form of a clandestine business maneuver involving a hostile takeover bid for a company with ties to Nikki's past, a company founded by a man who once held a piece of her heart before Victor ever did. Victor saw it as eliminating a potential threat and consolidating power, explains a Newman insider who spoke on condition of anonymity. He thought he was shielding Nikki from any old memories or complications. He didn't realize that by going behind her back, he was creating a much bigger problem. Nikki, who has spent decades fighting for her own agency and a place as an equal partner in the Newman empire, discovered the truth not from her husband, but through a stray email forwarded by an assistant. The betrayal wasn't the business deal itself. It was the secrecy, the patronizing assumption that she couldn't handle the truth. For a woman who has battled her own demons and emerged as a formidable force in her own right, it was an unforgivable slight. The argument that erupted was not the usual Newman shouting match filled with dramatic exits. Witnesses near the ranch that evening described it as a Cold War. Nikki's voice, usually laced with steel, was reportedly quiet, trembling with a hurt that went deeper than anger. Victor, for his part, was stunned into uncharacteristic silence, his typical commanding presence deflated by the realization that his protection had been perceived as a profound betrayal. He kept saying, "I did it for us, for you," the insider continues. And Nikki finally looked at him and said, "No, Victor. You did it for you. You did it to control the narrative, to control me. There is no us if I'm just a pawn in your game." It was brutal. The standoff leaves the Newman family in uncharted territory. With Victoria and Adam forced to choose sides, the Newman Media Board is in disarray. Victoria, ever her father's daughter, sees the logic in the business move but is torn by her mother's pain. Adam, sensing an opportunity to exploit a crack in his father's impenetrable armor, is playing a very dangerous game of neutral party, offering a sympathetic ear to his mother while subtly undermining Victoria's position at the company. The children of Genoa City are once again being forced to navigate the wreckage of their parents' turbulent love. Diane's boldest move yet, and then, of course, there is Diane. Never one to let a good crisis go to waste, Diane Jenkins has been watching the Newman drama unfold with the keen eye of a predator. For months, Diane has been meticulously rebuilding her life in Genoa City, working to solidify her relationship with her son, Kyle, and carving out a place for herself in the Abbott family sphere. But her ultimate prize, her white whale, has always been Jack Abbott. For decades, Diane's schemes have revolved around her obsession with Jack. But now, a new, more nuanced strategy seems to be taking shape. Sources tell us that Diane's bold move this week is not a direct assault on Jack, but a calculated strike at his biggest rival and the source of so much of his past pain, Victor Newman. Diane, ever the information broker, has allegedly gotten wind of a vulnerable point in Victor's takeover deal. Perhaps it's a minority shareholder with a grudge, or a forgotten clause in the contract that could be exploited. On March 17, she is expected to approach Jack with this information, not as a romantic plea, but as a business proposition. She will frame it as a way for Abbott to counter the Newman media expansion, to level the playing field. This is Diane at her most brilliant and most dangerous, says a Genoa City business analyst. She's not throwing herself at Jack. She's appealing to his sense of rivalry, his duty to his company. She's making herself indispensable. She's saying, Jack, Victor is weak. His family is in turmoil. Let me help you strike. The offer puts Jack in an impossible position. His hatred for Victor is a foundational part of his being. The chance to land a significant blow is tantalizing. But working closely with Diane again, trusting her intel, opens a door he has fought to keep sealed for years. Is this a genuine olive branch of partnership, or is it the first step in a larger game to ensnare him once more? For Diane, it might be both. By helping Jack wound Victor, she simultaneously proves her value to the man she loves and destabilizes the man who has been the biggest obstacle to Jack's, and by extension, her own, happiness. The perfect storm. As the week of March 17 unfolds, Genoa City is holding its breath. At the Newman Ranch, the silence between Victor and Nikki is deafening. Nikki has reportedly moved into one of the guest rooms, a symbolic act that has sent shockwaves through the household staff. Victor, a man who has faced down corporate raiders and international criminals, now finds himself defeated by the one thing he cannot control or buy: his wife's trust. Meanwhile, across town at the Abbott mansion, Diane is likely putting the finishing touches on her proposal. She will walk into Jack's office, not as a jilted lover, but as a strategic ally. She will lay out the plan, her eyes sparkling with the thrill of the game. She will watch as Jack wrestles with his conscience, his duty, and his deep-seated need to best Victor Newman. Will Jack take the bait? Can Victor find a way to mend the unthinkable rift with Nikki before it's too late? And what role will the Newman children play in either saving their parents' marriage or exploiting its collapse for their own gain? When the Newmans are at war, everyone is a casualty. And this time, the greatest casualty of all might be the love story that has defined the town for over 4 decades. The champagne flutes have been put away. The glasses being raised now are filled with something far more potent: secrets, schemes, and the bitter dregs of a marriage on the rocks.